West, the surrounding is just appalling. The drains always choked with all manner of things, very dirty, very smelly. Then you go up to you take the Dr. Mensah route, as if you are going to Menshia, on the Menshia road, and you take the Alaba road where they sell bicycles. The whole area bad. Well, you get to Abu Abu station, and then as you are going to Roman Hill, in front of the Zongo police station, up to Roman Hill West. Then you descend to Roman Hill and come to where they call the Juma Rosanse. On your left, you go to Asaf Market. On your right, you go back to Kejetia. The whole place. When you enter the market itself, it's another story, and it's getting worse and worse and worse every day. And I don't see an end. Like, I don't know how we are going to fix this. Everywhere you go, you smell urine.
The stench is
everywhere, and it's bad. The atmosphere, the air is filled with dust. There are plastic waste everywhere. I mean, you can go on and on and on and on and on, and it breaks my heart that a city which used to be called a garden city, even not too long ago when we were growing up, Kumasi wasn't this bad. I mean, the traffic situation and everything, as long as the population is growing, some of these things are expected, and you would want to see.
But if population is growing, we need to grow along with it.
Yes, I mean, like traffic and all these things, it will come, but that doesn't mean we should just leave everything to go the way that they are. Make sure that refuse is being picked up early enough. I remember one time they did a general cleaning. I was in town. I think I put some of the videos on our platform, and they were cleaning. Everybody was involved. They all got involved. But one thing I noticed was after they cleaned, they just left it there, hoping that the KMA will come with
the trucks
to come and pick it up. So if it doesn't come for about 2 or 3 days, then it's still.
And sometimes it gets back into the drain.
Exactly. And I mean, you can just go on and on and on and on, and it really saddens my heart to see the city that we also love.
So how dirty is Kumasi? That's our first conversation. We have a lot of things we're talking about this morning, but we're beginning with the dirt, the filth in Kumasi. What's your own story, Eugene?
Yes, David. I was going through the numbers and I realized that the KMA, for example, in 2022 constructed 600 household toilets, right? Because in Kumasi, per the statistics, in Greater Kumasi, most of the traditional, as you know, the traditional suburb, 40 to 50% of the households are without toilets.
And that's one thing that beats my mind. That a landlord would have a premises he wants to rent out and will not think about a place of convenience, a toilet facility. He would rather turn a toilet facility into a single room and rent it out. And per the bylaws of the region or KMA, every household is supposed to have a bathhouse and a toilet facility. And yet we don't do this. Simple. We don't want to apply this. And so if you rent, and I wonder why people would also go rent in such places. A place where you don't have a toilet facility. You go and rent, it's all for free, so you rent, you pay money for it. And if you are sick of malaria, whatever sickness, and you cannot move from your house to the public toilet of a place of convenience, how will you do your business?
So, David, when you look at the breakdown, the areas that have been earmarked, there's a project they are doing with the World Bank. And I want to tie it into something I'll come to later. So they are doing it in Ejeso, Ofurikrum, Kwadaso, Swame, Kumasi, that is the Greater Kumasi Asafo, at Old Tafo, Asokwe Mampong, and Asokwa. I was shocked to see Asokwa
in there. But they have old Asokwa.
Asokwa could have them.
They have old Asokwa, so it could be old Asokwa.
Yes. So, David, 40 to 50% of households do not have toilets. So these key areas that I've mentioned, the number of houses there, if they are 10,000, 5,000 of them are without toilet facilities. Now let's come ask ourselves, how many public toilets are at these places? So it means that people are doing it in the gutters. Forgive us this morning. That is why Edum stinks. And David, there's no architect or mason who will build a house for you without a designation for a washroom or a toilet facility. The landlords convert these places into rooms.
Even kitchens.
Kitchens and rent them out. And because the way rent is becoming expensive like Accra, people do not have say most of these rooms are 50 cedis, 60 cedis, and they are comfortable living there. You know? So David, when I saw the start, I thought it was a bit less. You see, and I always say that when you hear of Kumasi or Accra, you may think it's some proper city BAU, unless you take some of these numbers. How come 40% of households in Greater Kumasi do not have toilets?
But again, aside from that, those are residents, places of abode. Let's talk about places where people have shops, like Edum. Let's talk about places where people have, are trading. Unfortunately, most of these people have containers, or metal containers that they've placed there, and they don't have toilet facilities in there. So, like we were saying, if you go to Edum, for example, the CBD area, and you see structures or buildings that do not have toilet facilities, you ask yourself, where will people attend to nature when the need arises? I personally have seen people who will take small containers, like the ones that the ladies will use to relax their heads after they've used the thing inside, the creams inside. They keep it in their shops, and then they wee inside. And when they wee inside, you know what they do? They just come out of their shop and pour it into the gutter. Well, we've been joined by a development consultant in Mr. PV Jantua. PV, good morning to you and thanks for your time.
Good morning, David.
How are you doing?
I'm good, and yourself?
I'm well.
We thank God.
So, for you, when you hear Kumasi, and like I was saying a while ago, Kumasi was once termed as or described as the garden city of West Africa. A lot of greens, a lot of clean streams, rivers clean. Unfortunately, we've lost all of that. The air we breathe is so polluted with all manner of chemicals and all manner of things. You are an Ashanti yourself, am I right?
Yeah.
How do you feel seeing Kumasi as in the state it is now?
David, let me greet your cherished listeners and the good people of Kumasi.
And my viewers as well, because we have people watching us on Facebook.
Okay, yes. You see, when we were growing up in Kumasi, where we called Adeshaman Gardens or Adeshaman...
It was Adeshaman Gardens at the time.
Yes. It used to be a recreational park where you can even go there, sit somewhere. They have some concrete tables and chairs there. You can even go sit there and read. When you come to Sofalai, there was another one there. Sofalai, there was a sort of an arboretum on the runabout down there where you can even go sit and read. Kumasi that is why it was called Garden City. You won't walk about 100 meters without seeing a tree. When we came to Edum to operate our shops, there was a tree in front of where they call Akoniasa. Now, inside Edum today, you won't find any tree in Edum. The whole of Edum. But we used to have what we call Silam Bangro, where we have SG, SSB now. There were trees all over. Vegetations were there. Now, it appears that over a period of time, in the last, I think, 4 decades or so, everything that protected us as human beings, let me say our environmental immune system have broken down. Everything have broken down. So, I think the way forward for us now is to deploy some social engineering processes so that we can't reverse the trend, because it's very serious. And you see the dangers that it poses to our health, we are not even aware. Most of the diseases that is coming up these days, we are not even aware that it is because of what we do in an environment.
So what would make a landlord who is renting out a place to a human being, and a human being has nature needs, either you urinate or you would do the other one? I don't want to mess somebody's breakfast up if the person is eating right now. What will make a landlord have the confidence to say, okay, I'm even turning a toilet facility into a single room and rent it out, instead of making sure that per the bylaws you have a toilet facility in that premises?
Can I say the landlord and the prospective tenant, or even the tenant? Because the sad thing is that somebody have rented a room in a house. There is no toilet. Then after 2 or 3 years, the rent expires. The landlord is demanding another rent advance, and the guy will pay. So can I say the landlord and the tenant, both. Is the moral compass working?
No, but Eugene was saying something a while ago. Getting a place to lay your head is expensive. So people are prepared to compromise. So let me get this room like that and use a public facility for bathing, for doing my toiletry stuff there.
That's the reason I'm saying that both the landlord and the prospective tenant, or even the tenant, their moral compass is not working. Now, David, there's a small research going on. They have an interim report. Every 10 people you meet on the street of Kumasi, it's about 7 people out of the 10. The right-hand side of their brain is not working. You know, the left-hand side is the logical side of the brain. I went to school with you, so you are either my classmate or my schoolmate. My father married Ositutu's mother, so invariably he's my brother. You see, the right-hand side is the creative side of the brain. That makes the difference between me and you. And out of 7 of 10, it's not working. That is why we're having this kind of challenges.
Left or right? The right. Right. Says the right. Why is it not working?
Because if it is working,
no, why is it? I know if it's working, you do the right things.
Yes.
So why is it not working?
It is not working because the people don't even have value of whatever they have or whatever they are looking for.
So maybe
because
you're not making use of it.
Yes, because you see, you've gone to work on a construction site. You've carried this concrete and blocks and make some money, and you want to go and rent a room, right? Upon all the struggles, the hard work that we've gone through, common sense you take a look. Even from now, even if I will not have a total comfort, at least some basic comfort there, I should have it. So if you are growing and you don't even have value for your own life, then you need to have a good health. You can live comfortably. You have a peaceful life, so that you can even move forward your life. And you still want to compromise as if you don't have a choice.
So we've thrown our dignity to the dogs.
Yes.
Because some of these things, you just don't get up and say, I'm going to do my business in a polythene bag and do the treating thing. And so where lies your dignity as a human being?
The sad thing is that some of these houses, if you go to Ashtown, Bantuma, Amakum, some of these houses are about 50 years old. And they request for rent, which is commensurate to today's terms. And there's no toilet in the house. Even some of the houses, the entrance, the main gate, the entrance, it's not working. There's no gate in place. So in terms of security, it is nothing. You can even go to some of these houses, and even the doors have been there for about 60 years. And they've changed the notice locks over a period of time, so you can even peep through the old positions.
The keyholes.
Yes. There's no maintenance, nothing.
We're talking about the insanitary conditions, PV. And we've talked about the fact that apart from the residential abodes where people do not have toilet facilities and therefore use polythene bags and use plastic containers, if you go to the CBD and other places, again, people who are operating shops and selling whatever it is, they do not also have toilet facilities in the shops. So they want to do their business, they go behind their counter or behind some of the items and they squat, urinate, pour it into drains. We go out there, we buy vegetables, buy fruits, buy all manner of things in open spaces where these drains are, which of course are contaminated with the urine and the feces. Per the bylaws, we're not supposed to display food items on the bare floor. It's supposed to have an elevation of 4 to 5 or so meters off the ground. Have we come to appreciate what we're doing to ourselves by way of hygiene and health?
I don't think so. That's why I said earlier that most of the things that we are doing, we don't even know how it's even going to affect our health. And it is all about leadership. Somebody has to lead and make sure the right thing is done.
Some time ago, we had this cleanup exercise that was held in the CBD area at the end of every month.
You see, one thing is that if you leave the person who is generating the waste out of the solution process, it becomes a problem. That's why somebody will tell you, so once you start hearing this kind of statement, it tells you there's a big problem somewhere.
But that's what I'm talking about, the cleanup exercise that was done at the end of every month. The last Saturday.
But
even the traders themselves will not come to the town, the shops. They'll stay at home because they know close your shops up to like midday. let's do a clean up exercise and then we open after midday. So they will not come and wait up until midday and then just will come and open the shops.
I'm glad we are on the same page now, because they've been left out of the solution. They should have been there to see exactly what they are doing to themselves. So you don't leave the person who is generating the waste outside the solution process. It will never work. And we've engaged in this cleanup exercise more than 2 decades. And we've achieved nothing. So it tells there's no fair return on the resources that have been employed on these.
It's not about fair return. I think it's a failure on the part of the leaders we have. Because leaders are paid to think. They're given positions to think and find solutions to problems. This is a problem. I can say it's even a danger to all of us. And yet we haven't found a solution to this. And for those of you who would stand by the drain where the woman is selling kinky or wachi, and you would buy it and go home and comfortably sit down and eat. Eugene was telling us a story yesterday where he said he wanted to buy some kinky and some meat. And then something passed through the atmosphere. And he was wondering what it was, only for him to realize that, Charlie, there's a public toilet close to where he was buying the thing. How well do we even maintain and clean those public toilets to make people comfortable enough?
Go to Ashton, the place they call 31st. Inside the premises of the refuse dump and the public toilets, somebody is selling food inside, not outside. Inside, where the toilets are. And from the position that the lady is selling the food to the 2 toilets, I think it will be less than 10 feet. Less than 10 feet. And people are there eating. Even, let's go there just this morning. They are there.
What advice do we give to the authorities? So KMA boss, Sampine, and others, the MCs and DCs we have around. What would you want to say to them about the insanitary conditions? They are aware of it. Maybe they're clueless as to how to fix or solve the problem. What suggestions or advice do you have for them?
You see, we need to have the mayor. And there's a fundamental problem in Kumasi. I can say on authority that from, let's say, 1992 to date, whoever have passed through to become the mayor of Kumasi, collectively they've let Kumasi down. So the current mayor needs help. And he needs to come out, right, and tell the group of Kumasi that where we've reached, we need everybody on board. And we need to assign the roles. We need to make it very clear that even though you are not carrying me, but once you have a shop in a dome, once you are selling food in between 2 houses in a dome or whatever it is, this is the role that we expect you to play. Everybody should have a role to play. And we need to also enforce their laws. Whoever will be found culpable must be punished. And there should be a severe punishment for the lesser offenses. The current mayor needs help. We need to help him because he's constrained with resources, a whole lot of things. But I will advise that he comes out first.
Do you have hope?
Oh yes. Yes, you see, it depends on the approach. Let's assume people are selling in front of shops and we still want to maintain the pedestrian pavement. It is their source of livelihood. And what I keep on saying, that nobody will put his very survival at stake for the sake of what? Solidarity. So if you are seeing a rule, to look, make sure that nobody drops water sachet rubber here or whatever it is here. I want to make sure that the pavement is free. That's where they get their livelihood from. They will cooperate. Then along that time, we can sit down and fashion out where we can
relocate them to.
Yes, that, like I said yesterday, like when you have 2 variables, the buyer and the seller, if you keep one in constant position, what will happen to the other variable? So we need to put so many things in place. We need to improvise and get so many things done.
We live in a country where,
for example, if you want to hawk in and around a dome, if you want to reduce the hawking in a dome, we can say, okay, if you want to hawk in and around a dome, your daily levy that you pay is 40 cedis. So
high.
technically,
it's very high.
You are trying to disperse them. Then we can also specify the kind of items that you can sell if you're a hawker in a dome.
Well, for now, we're talking about the insanitary conditions, and unfortunately, you go to places where they write, do not urinate here. And people are bold enough to go clean their do not and leave the rest and say urinate here. And so people urinate anyhow. How can we get people to stop defecating openly,
You see,
and stop people urinating openly? Because again, when you engage with people where they have the public facilities, they're not comfortable using them because the place is not kept well cleaned enough. So what do we need to do that will make people stop urinating anyhow and stop the whatever thing that
you see, we have a mindset that look, every corner you can urinate. So if you go to a friend's shop and you have some tell any family and oh, tell a So it is everybody's mindset. So you see, we need to work on our mindset too, and make sure that the right things are done. Because you see, the fact that there is no waste bins around doesn't guarantee that you have to drop whatever is in your hand anywhere. And we need to start some sort of practical education in our even from the kindergarten.
Exactly my point.
We need to start from there.
5-year plan, 10-year plan, and reorient the minds from these young ones. So they grow with it.
And you see, as we are moving on, you see, we need to punish people.
I agree with you on that.
People have to be punished. Like I said earlier, the lesser offenses must attract severe punishment so that it will not be comfortable for you even doing it.
I hear you on that. For want of time, let's move on to another bit of the conversation. Kumasi is really choked. We began by talking about the fact that Kumasi was described or referred to as the Garden City of West Africa. Right now, there are no more greens. We have used concrete to cement almost every green space available. And after concreting the surfaces, what do? We put containers there. Containers everywhere. And these people who are operating the containers, doing business in there, and I'm not saying it's wrong to be entrepreneurial or to have a business. Let's do it the right way. They still do not have toilets facilities in these containers. So when they cover the surfaces, they'll do their business again into the drain, the gutters, as we've talked about. But we're depriving people, young ones, from having places where they can play, playgrounds, recreation centers. We've turned almost every place into a drinking spot, a saloon, and all that. You knew Kumasi back then. Looking at the containers that have been scattered all over Kumasi, how does that make you feel?
Very bad. And you see, we need to put this blame at the doorstep of the city planners. Because even when you acquire a parcel of land, there is a purpose for which the land has been acquired. So if it's an industrial area, fine. If it's a residential area, so be it. Now you realize that even in Kumasi here, we cannot classify any area in Kumasi as an industrial area. And it makes things very difficult. Let's assume power crisis hits us and we want to even ration power. We cannot identify, let's turn the eastern side of Kumasi because basically that place is what? An industrial area. No. We don't have an industrial area in Kumasi now. So when we come to our cluster of residence areas, it becomes a problem. It's a very, because now in Ashtown, Bantuma, Krofum, doors and windows have been removed and gates have been fixed. People are using them as what? Wholesale shops and so on and so forth. And nobody cares because the building drawings was approved for a purpose, for a residential construction, yes. So if you even want to change the purpose of the building, you have to go back there to the town and country planning for it to be approved. Now let's ask us a full.
Now they call fiscal planning.
Yeah. There's nothing. Absolutely nothing. So you can do whatever pleases you once the building is yours. It doesn't care where the building is located or sited. No.
So again, in residential areas, places where there's supposed to be walkways, people have placed containers there. Sometimes you have a sea of them. And people have taken monies from these people and allowed them
now,
to do business.
in front of some of these houses, somebody's window, in front of the window, facing the main street, the landlord will allow somebody to put a container there.
Yeah.
Which is not right. But the city authorities are helpless now, as if nothing cannot be done.
Yes.
Even some buildings with two entrances, when you go to Ashtown, Krofum, they have two entrances, main entrance. The big one and
the small one. Which is good for ventilation and the movement and all that, in case of fire or whatever.
Before one of the entrances have been blocked, converted into a shop. and nobody says anything about it.
Eugene and I went around somewhere latter part of last year to do some distribution of sanitary pads. We got to Asim. What did we find, Eugene?
You see, David, I was sad because I lived at Asafo for almost 3 years. And just opposite the Kumasi Technical University, it was clear. When you stand at the entrance, you can see the school, the greenery, and all that. Now go there. Container from. You see, what's the word? They've walled the school with containers and concrete structures, and gradually they are eating into the park.
You see, previously there was this metal grill that was used as fence around the government boys' school. That is Asim, and there were trees all over. When you go to Jackson Park itself, my friend used to work at the Kumasi Education Office. That's what they call Jackson Park. There were trees all around. Now they've put a fence wall, and all the trees have been cut off.
All the greens are gone.
And you see, why we are experiencing flooding in Kumasi is that the impervious coefficient, that is what we call paving these areas that is supposed to be used as lawns and so on, it is increasing at an alarming rate. Our tertiary drains and our primary drains are not in the best of shape. So if it rains for about 20 minutes, the water collects at a faster rate, then it has to find its way. All the natural drainage basins in Kumasi have been destroyed.
Yeah.
So it's like almost everything that give us protection has been destroyed over a period of time.
And we're concreting every surface.
Yes.
But there's a good news that I chanced on yesterday.
David, about the concreting. You see, Kote also used to have a park just in front of Prestige Hostel. When you get to the Kote station and you branch going to the Diakon, you see there was a park there.
Yeah.
Now it's also been turned into stores.
Yeah, containers all over. And some people have even erected, concrete structures
you see,
there.
some years back, K.O. Methodist School Park, there were trees all over. Around. Now they've put all the trees down. They've built shops. And the place has become congested. You can't even drive from Achumin down to SAT. No.
So let's do this. Yesterday,
let me give you another one. On the Kote Road, when you branch from Aidiasi station, go to Kote, you see where the Aidiasi cemetery is?
Yeah.
Have you seen what they are doing to even the dead?
They are encroaching on the space there, so they cannot rest peacefully.
So there's a single gate leading to the cemetery.
Yeah.
Everywhere, containers.
So I'm happy about one thing. 24 will be 25 years on the throne next year. And I am told that either by close of day today or close of day tomorrow, there's going to be a communique that is asking every container owner to remove their container by end of March. If people do not remove their containers by end of March, whatever you have in there will be taken away, will be moved away. 2 questions in one. What do you make about this that I've talked about, and how sustainable is it?
David, you see, wherever they've fixed the container, like I said, in front of people's windows that is facing the main streets, they've put containers there. You don't even need to give them notice. They all have to be removed.
Maybe a human face of a sort.
All of them have to be removed because you see, why do you have to put container blocking ventilation to somebody's room? Is it because you are the landlord? And you see, the sad thing is that those who inherit those properties, as a bush you are paying also, they will come and do that stupid things. Because when the real owner was alive, there's no way he allowed you to do that. The facility people from Kumasi will come and now move from Kumasi because he's the new landlord, and you come and do all sort of stupid things.
And per your documentation, you have up to a space. The rest is not for you; belongs to the state.
Yes.
And you're still taking over those spaces. But PV, that's what I'm asking. How do you feel about this news? Is it good news for you? Is it good news for you?
Yes. It's good.
How sustainable is this? Because I'm asking this because I remember some time ago we attempted to do a similar thing.
You see, David, let me tell you. You see, once the thing is written in law and it has been passed, I don't think there should be difficulty in applying the law. And that has been our challenge. That is why I was saying that, look, let's technically disarm our traditional leaders. And that form of disarming them is that let's bring them to be part of the process and the rules and the bylaws. So that tomorrow, if anybody goes to him or her and says, Nana, go and plead for me, it will not sit well with him because he's part of the law. Because we need to do some of these things. Yesterday, the document I gave to you, we need to reclassify our streets. You cannot go and open a church at the first floor or maybe the second floor of a main street. Somebody will open a refrigeration repair shop, carpentry shop. We need to classify the street. On the class A street, you cannot open any form of a shop there. We need to classify them. And now you see every truck, no matter its weight, whatever, it can pass through anywhere. And some of these roads are not meant for these trucks. If you go to Ashtown, Asafonamakum, all the New and Bantuma, the asphalt overlays, they are getting out of hand now in less than 4 years.
Last year or two, a tractor that was going to remove some things at Asafo
killed a small girl.
Kill a small girl.
Yeah.
Kill a small girl.
And David, when you even look at where the incident happened, because I've stayed in Asafo before, clearly there's no way to be in the bylaw for trucks to ply that route.
But it's because somebody has allowed his premises or her premises to be turned into a wholesale.
You see, as PV said, it's a house. You have a permit. But as the person is converting that house facility into a warehouse, who is monitoring? Because let's not forget, the truck will come there, station for 8-10 hours, offloading goods, putting pressure on the asphalt overlay. Yeah. You ask yourself, how much is that company or that person paying in the form of taxes to warrant the destruction of that road? So when you go to Asafo, you know where I used to stay. Look at the road there.
Even with the highways, that's why they have checkpoints to check your azimuth.
Yeah.
Even with the highways. So when it comes to the residential areas, the trucks are not supposed to go there. But go to Ashtown, Amakum, Crowfoam, Mantuma, a truck fully loaded with drinks, and you can imagine the weight, will park at a particular place for about 8 hours.
Or even water.
Yes. And sometimes when there's a problem with those, they don't repair it on the roads.
Yeah.
Discharging diesel. Yes.
When you are heading towards Airport Runabout from Araga Junction, you see almost half of the road has been taken by trucks going to the DVLA around Asawase, Abu Abu.
There's a customs office there.
Yes, and trucks just line by the road, and sometimes they even repair the engine oils and all that. And we have washing bays also in Kumasi who do these activities on the road.
And because we felt that the job was too big for one assembly to do, that's KMA, we decided to break it down and have various MCs so that they would be able to also help. But we're still in our class one.
You see, one of the major challenges is that we need to redefine the roles of our assemblymen and women.
The roles?
Yes.
Okay.
We need to give them authority. Because as of now, they cannot do anything. They need to be given authority. We must hold them responsible for whatever happened in their small electoral area.
Isn't that what we should be doing? I mean, aren't we doing that already? Because last week we talked about Ahisan Estates, where somebody wants to put up, what do you call it, a mall and a filling station. The person doesn't see anything wrong in filling a waterway. Yeah. The assemblyman for the area, Nanayao, stood his grounds together with the NADMO boss, Frank Duodu. They said no way, they will not allow that to happen. So if a lot of these assemblymen and women or the unit committee members would also decide to stand their grounds and prevent these things.
You see, in Ashtown, there's a unit committee member. When you write her name, when you tell her, look, I've written your name on the wall, there's some money beneath. When you get there where you see you've written your name, take the money. You walk past the place. So if you have a unit committee member who cannot read and write, so you see, we need to redefine it. Give them authority, give them a budget. Because when there's a small pothole in front of my house, do I have to walk to the Metropolitan Assembly to get it fixed? No. The assemblyman should have a small office, a small yard, where you have some artisans who can even change street lights, fix broken pipes, fill in these potholes, and so on and so forth. Then he will be charged that, look, all the containers here, we don't want to see them. So once we can hold him or her responsible, then we can say that, look, now there's something in place. But we cannot elect somebody as an assemblyman in the area without giving him authority, without giving him a budget and responsibility. Common sense should tell us, look, if we have to start the processing of a building permit from the local assemblyman's office.
Well.
And the reason is that we should give them a layout of their electoral area and indicate where it's a waterway, a school, land demarcated for school building, park, and so on and so forth. So once the chief gives you the allocation and the site plan, you go to the assemblyman's office to confidentially go back to the chief. The place that he have allocated to you is meant for what? Maybe a school park. Then when the permit have been approved, there is a portion that should come back to the assemblyman for him to sign. Then it goes back to the town plan or whoever it is, so that the assemblyman will not have any window of opportunity to tell me I wasn't aware this thing was going on.
Or the chief will not have his way to say, okay, I'm the chief and I've given out the land and that's about it.
Yes.
You see, David, a practical bit of it was when the Otunfo stepped into the Galamsey issue latter part last year and was saying that he doesn't understand why we give concessions to people to mine at Edubia, for example, from Accra. Whilst the local person there, they're not involved. They'll be sitting there, then someone will bring a contract to them. I buy them too good. So they should be able to
involve
give
them.
They involve the local people. Because David, that's the same, for example. I do not understand why a small road that, let's say, Ahomaso or Bebri will do somewhere. We should wait for a road minister from Accra to come and fix the road for us.
And if we have to go and contract loans to come and build some of these roads. You see, whatever the assemblyman wants to do, his source of income can now be effectively tied to the collection of property rates in his small area, and that will be more effective.
I hear you. So we've talked about the stench in Kumasi, the filth, the dirt in Kumasi, and the fact that Kumasi smells. Kumasi smells so bad. The place when you don't know and you walk by, you feel like throwing up. Why? Because many of the houses in Kumasi do not have toilet facilities. Many of the shops, many of the offices in Edum, for example, do not have toilet facilities. So when people want to do their business, for men, they just look for behind a tree somewhere and do it. Women, they take up containers and we inside and pour it into gutters. Kumasi bong. Yet we have people in positions, people in authority. Kumasi is equally choked. Listen, we have containers at every corner. This is a space in the hall. If it's a green grass, if it's a tree, we are prepared to cement the place, concrete, over the green grass and put a container there. We are prepared to cut down a tree and put a container there. Why? Because we want to do a business. And like I keep saying, I'm not saying that it is wrong to do a business, but the concern is at what expense or cost. Let's take a look at another bit of Kumasi. Of course, Edum, very choked. And I know we talked about it somewhat on Tuesday and a bit of it on Wednesday. Today's Thursday. PD, Kumasi is so choked. And one of the things we wanted to do, some 17 years ago, things we intended to do that would help the situation was we introduced the on-street parking. 2013, thereabout, we started taking 50 pesos. 2016, we started taking 1 cedi. And let me just do some calculation here for you. So, like I said, we have about 1,279 parking spaces. That's what we have, 1,279 parking spaces. 2013, we're taking 50 pesos per parking for an hour. 2016, we reversed it or improved it to 1 cedi for parking. In 2016, we were told that on a daily basis, we made between 5,000 to 7,000. That's in 2016. I'm trying to get some figures now. I called. Even on the toilet facilities in homes, yesterday I was speaking to somebody from KMA. Also, I'm not getting it. So I have the 2016 data. 2016, on a daily basis, we made 5,000 to 7,000 for people parking on streets in the Dumne CBD area. 2015, we made 1.8 million Ghana cedis. In 2016, we got close to 2 million Ghana cedis, and this is again 2016. 2014, we got some 1.7 million. All these monies goes into the coffers of the KMA, and some bits given to urban roads and all that. We made promises that we're introducing this street parking system to ease congestion in traffic. It has not succeeded. Assurances were made to us that we would construct an ultra-modern car park, 17 years on. Having taken all these monies, we are still where we are. Why?
You see, the problem is, yes, maybe they will be collecting these sums of money that you've made mention of, and it has been tied to, or it has to be put in an account for it to be invested in construction of these, what do you call it, ultra-modern car parks and so on. But don't forget, it takes some time for even the Metropolitan Assembly to receive its share of the common fund and a few things. And as and when unplanned expenditures also comes in, like emergencies and so on. So before we realize, some of this money that was meant for this construction of car parks and so on would have been applied in bits to other line of expenditures. But the whole thing is that whoever have been assigned to operate the on-street parking, before the person will be given that opportunity to carry out that operations, what is the equity that person is bringing into it? He has to make some investment before he will be allowed to do that. So that as we move on, we will be achieving some milestones in between. Yeah. So, but in most times, these contracts or these enterprises will be given to people without a person coming in with no investment. They rather have to come and collect those monies before they can even reinvest it into whatever they were assigned to do, which is not correct. Whoever will be given that kind of BOT or whatever it is should come with some equity in his hands. Now, look, I'm going to put in 2 years. I'm going to put
should that be the business of the person who comes in to say I'm managing it?
No,
but the money is being gotten and given to the assembly, and the assembly says I want to put up an ultra-modern car parking. So why can't we do it? 17 years on, and you see, go to a doom and the doom is still choked.
David, you see,
before you go to me, Leo has some message for us.
Unlock the double data on your Vodafone Too Much Family package. Top up with 120 Ghana cedis on your regular subscription and you will automatically get 100% more data to use as you please. The 100% bonus data lasts until your regular monthly bundle expires. Get double data in the Vodafone Too Much Family package for streamer, webmaster, downloader, office and all one family bundles. Dial star 900 hash, that's star 900 hash, and then follow the prompts to subscribe, or visit myvodafone.vodafone.com.gh or top up on your My Vodafone app. Vodafone, further together.
All right, so this is Love 99.5. You're listening to Love in the Morning. We're still focusing attention on why Kumasi is in the state it is in. Some years ago, Kumasi was referred to as the Garden City of West Africa, but unfortunately, well, it's lost that glory. And we are where we are right now, where Kumasi is so dirty. The filth in Kumasi is unimaginable. The dirt in Kumasi is unimaginable. The stench, the bad foul smell is so bad. Why? Well, because per the bylaws of Kumasi, KMA or something like that, we're supposed to have toilet facilities in homes.
Yeah.
Landlords are not adhering to this. They will rather comfortably turn a kitchen or a toilet facility into a bedroom, a single room, and rent it out. Nobody is enforcing the laws, and so they're having a field day. So people rent these places and will do their businesses in the open drain, in the open atmosphere. So we go out there, we buy from people who are selling close to drains. Now we've talked about containers. Yeah, somebody will argue and say that renting a shop is quite expensive. So what have they resorted to do? With the assistance of people who are chiefs, with the assistance of people who call themselves landlords, every space is being taken over now. So some small green grass area where they'll come and pour concrete on it and put a container there and say they'll turn it into a beer bar. They're selling alcohol. Or a salon. Or whatever. They're selling onions and palm oil. And people are comfortable buying from them and people are comfortable doing business from there. Well, like I said, I'm happy that either close of day today or tomorrow, there will be a statement that is instructing or ordering people in the CBD area, in other residential areas, to remove every container. So if you haven't seen the statement, it's going to come out today or tomorrow, and I'm telling you ahead of time. So if you know somebody who has a container, tell that person that I didn't check it, but I ask myself, can we sustain it? That's where my concern really is. We're now talking about KMA having taken our monies for 17 years, having assured us of putting up an ultra-modern car park, and yet we don't have it. I've run you through some of the monies that they have accrued. As of 2016. 7 years on, still nothing. Call us on 0322083596, 0322083597, 0322083598. Can't we take some of these matters up when we are given assurances and the promises are not made? What do we do? What are our options?
David, I think what we should be doing now is, like you said earlier, there should be a developmental plan or agenda for Kumasi.
Can you hold the thought for me? Please don't lose your thought flow. I've got my callers coming in now, and I'd like to engage with the callers. So like I said, you can call us on 0322083596, 0322083597, 0322083598. I've got Samuel, Ziggy Brown, and Kofi on the line. Let me start off with Kofi. Kofi, good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning, Ronnie. Love FM started clean up Kumasi city exercise some time ago. It was very laudable. They did it in conjunction with the KMA, and it was going on well, such that Joy FM heard about it, and they emulated the good thing that Love FM had started. In about 2-3 weeks, the program was stopped abruptly. But Joy FM, who copied from Love FM, still they are doing it. So sometimes when I hear Love FM discussing sanitation in Kumasi, I feel so ashamed for Love FM. How can you start nice program and you cannot continue it? You just stop it somewhere along the line, and sometimes then you come back and you say the same thing. Do you have moral right to discuss this? It's a shame.
Well, I agree with you. Kofi, on this, and we're going to do something about it. Thank you very much. Ziggy Brown is also on the line. Hi, Ziggy. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, David.
Welcome, Ziggy.
I've sent you videos. I'm communicating with you from Dr. Mensah. It's a very horrible scene here. As early as about 4:30 a.m., we find market women selling on the floor. As you have gutters that are choked and undesalted for so long. And the audacity of people coming here and buying foodstuffs from these women, it's a shame. It's a big shame. And we are so close to Menchiao. You see, very, very, very close to the seat of Otumfo. And this morning I called KMA, some of the operations people, to come and see the situation. They are on their way to Babayara to what do you call it, practice for 6 March. All of them, those who are supposed to keep the cities clean, they are on their way to Babayara to practice for 6 March. This is the situation we have here now at Dr. Mensah. Stores can't open because you have market women selling right in front of your store, selling momoni, kobe, all kinds of things. The stench here, you can't stand it, David. It's horrible. Very, very horrible. Some time ago, I took the initiative to desilt the gutters in this area. I spent so much money. It didn't get anywhere. A week, 2, 3, the whole place is filled up with filth again. It's horrible.
Ziggy, I hear you. Gradually we'll get there. We'll get it right. That was Ziggy Brown who joined us as well. You can also call us on 0322083596, 83597, 83598. Samuel, good morning and welcome, sir.
David, good morning. Let me commend you greatly for this program this morning. In fact, you have made my day. The gentleman in the studio is on top of his job. I don't know where he works. He should be the mayor of Kumasi. Look, the containers. It has taken over all the city of Kumasi. Now, you see the sad aspect of this unsanitary condition. When you are driving from Kumasi Airport to Mansia, do you now see that, is it Mansia or who? They are trying to build a fence wall just to cover the shame that are always welcoming the visitors to Mansia. And the Metropolitan Assembly is sitting there doing nothing. It is sad, David. Let me ask you this question. When the tree planting exercise was going on, why didn't KMA took advantage of that project to ensure that the garden city that has gotten lost will be brought back through that project? It is gone. Now, do you know the main architect behind the container placement in Kumasi? I know you know them. They are the assembly members. Come to Bokrom right now as we speak. Bokrom MA Park. The assemblyman of Bokrom has ensured that 50% of the park is filled with containers. And this has become a project at the assembly. And nobody is watching. David, you said something that before the commemoration of the 25th year of Asantehene, there is going to be a container removal. I heard something of that sort. Good. This happens. I can tell you, the name of Mansia will go up high because this container has given the king a bad name. I tell you. And this sometime, I tell you, it's good for nothing.
Let's attack personalities here. We can speak about the issues, but not the person. Let's attack the person. So thank you very much, Samuel, for joining us. I appreciate the call as always. Do we have Ken on the line? Hi, Ken. Good morning. Do we have Mohammed on the line? I lost Mohammed too on the line. Oh boy. Hi. Good morning.
Hello.
Boss. Good morning.
Yeah. Morning, Dave.
Yes, sir. What's your name?
My name is Bedu.
Bedu. Good to have you, sir.
Erasmus Bedu.
Hey, Erasmus Bedu.
Yeah, Dave.
Right now you've turned into a listener caller. Nice one, Mr. Bedu. Let's hear you. ECG Bedu.
Yes. I've just been listening to the discussions, and I think I have to make some contribution here. I think the Dum Kejetia, and then maybe some part of Bantuma, Ashtown, Crowfrom, those areas that you have mentioned specifically, these areas have outlived the design that was in place in the beginning of the existence of the city. I think it is time that the city planners look at it again and find a way to redesign the place. Because apparently this is the central business district of Kumasi. And in most cities, this is what they usually call the Zone A or the downtown. And in such places, typical downtowns, it is a business area. It is not for settlement. It's an area where you go and you do business for all that you need. So I think the place has outlived the purpose for which initially it was designed for. So somebody must sit down critically and have a bigger look and redesign the place. Otherwise, we'll have this back and forth, people trooping. Look at KGTR Market. It has to be redesigned, and that's why it's being done.
I hear you, Erasmus Shebedu. It's been a very, very long time. Let's hook up and meet for some lunch or something. We'll not do it in a container. We'll do it at the right place. Thank you very much, Mr. Bedu, for your time. We have Nick on the line. Hi, Chief. Good morning.
Hello.
Yes, Nick, please turn on the volume on the radio for me and go ahead, sir. Thank you very much.
My name is Sledge.
Is it Nick or Sledge?
Sledge.
So we lost Nick on the line. Nick, apologies, call us back. Okay, Nick is still on. Nick, hold the line for me. Sledge, go ahead.
David, I want to ask this. Do you have a mayor in Kumasi? I doubt. David, we are talking about something, but let me remember you about something. Remember, I called some time back. Sometime I was in the studio, and I complained about some bridges. The one from DBS, Takodum, to Adiambra. David, over a year now, it's not been done. Have you seen where the Great Free Church is? That bridge is also caving in. David, all these come back to the sanitation that we are talking. Where is our mayor? Wada. And people are doing whatever they want in the city. But we are expecting that the palace should come and do this. When royalties, 55% of royalties are being paid to the assembly to use to take care of the city. You expect the palace to give you 55% of royalties, and you expect the palace to come back and come and keep the city clean for you. Then what is your use? Why were you appointed? Why are you being paid with the taxpayers' money? People should be talked to. People should be pushed to do what they are supposed to do. And we shouldn't have possibly blame that the Ashanti region is for you, so you have to take the lead. No. Why are they being paid? Why are they being given 55% of the royalties? David, you need to bring some time back to the studio. We have a lot of questions to ask you.
I hear you. That was Sledge who joined us on the phone lines. Our very final caller. Nick, good morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Very well, Nick. Good to have you, sir.
Good. This topic is near and dear to my heart. I live in the United States and I come to Ghana every 6 months, and I live here for 6 months. Near my house, every morning, I go around and collect all the garbage around the place. I see young people coming in, they see me picking up the things, and they just walk by. And when I ask them, do you see me? And then they'll drop the same thing, trash bags or polythene bags, whatever it is. And then I ask them, why do you just drop something on the floor, on the ground, when you know that it's not good for you? And they tell me, oh, this is, keep Ghana clean. I said, what does that mean, keep Ghana clean? But you are doing the opposite of what you're telling me. The problem is, I don't think there's any skin in the game for anybody in this country. Nobody cares. What they do is and there are no repercussions. And so people do whatever they want, they feel like doing. People drop feces anywhere they want. And yet they complain when you say, oh, the government should come and clean it. The government is you. The change starts with you. If you're not going to change it, who's going to change it for you? And so we got an enormous problem. I grew up in Kumasi. I'm 68 years old, and I knew how Kumasi was. And I look at Kumasi now, and I tell you, I agree with everything you guys are saying. This is pretty bad.
I hear you, Nick. Thank you so much, Nick.
I'm going to go.
We appreciate the call. Charlie, guys, take Nick's number. During the Ghana month, Eugene, take Nick's number. During the Ghana month, we need to engage with Nick. Because Charlie, he's lived his almost all his life, or his formative years in Kumasi, but now he's outside. He comes 6 months, goes 6 months, and he knew how Kumasi was. Let him come and tell us about Kumasi, how it was before, and how he feels like, how the state Kumasi is in right now. Well, we've got some messages and some voice notes as well that we would like to share with you. Can we start with the messages? Okay, Leo, please.
Okay, he says, Uncle David, I think Kofi went overboard. Love FM needs the support of KMA. The road from Tech Junction through to Anloga Junction. David, you and your team talked about this several times, and after doing some part from Bomso traffic to Ofurukrom, they stopped. Tech and Anloga Junction stretch are bad and still not done. And what can Love FM do again? I remember you brought someone from Ofurukrom Municipal to your studio and talked about the Susanso Road that leads to Ahinsan Estate. And after that long talk and promises from the guy, we are yet to see an action on that road, which is so bad. And the name wasn't here, but that's a message somebody said.
Well, I hear you. Thank you very much. And let me say it this way. To be honest, I agree with Kofi that we began this conversation on radio where we're trying to put people on their toes to do the right things when it comes to sanitation, and along the line some programs came up and we stopped. We'll have to bring it back. So Kofi, thanks. And of course to the person who sent the message to, we say thank you very much for listening to Love 99.5. Any voice messages that we can share?
Good morning, David. I hope you are well. David, Kumasi is now the filthy city of West Africa because of those who are in charge. David, we had regional ministers like that of Major Kobla and Kojo Yanka, and a mayor like that of Okumkom, Nana Akuetteh, who will leave his office and go around the city to see what is going on. But now look at the leaders we have. They are just sitting in their offices, drinking beer and cool water. And at the lunchtime, they will send for fat lunch. They don't care. They are selling everything. David, they will soon be looking forward to selling Manshia if the chiefs are quiet.
Let's get there. Thanks very much for sending in that voice message. We have another one. Take a listen.
Good morning, Dave. This is Isaac. You see, malaria is no more the leading cause of OPD attendance for, some time now. When you check the data, you can see that now upper respiratory tract infection has taken over. And this can be attributed to the pollution of the environment that you are talking about. Okay? You see, Delali told you that now education is no more working. And it's true. Perhaps the person who is even doing that is not listening. As we are talking, we have done this over years. It has yielded little to no results. The laws are sitting in books. The bylaws are sitting in books. When you leave the Ghanaian, he will do whatever he likes. And these laws we are talking about, they know that they can make money. Who is monitoring them? Who is monitoring these houses? They are institutions that are mandated to do that. But nothing is happening. And so we must all champion for the law to work, to arrest people who go and look at KDT here. Even in a centralized place like that, people are polluting the environment indiscriminately. While city guys are working there, they take money and then they don't care. So we must advocate for the law to work.
Well, thank you very much. He's talking about more enforcement and enforcement and enforcement. We have time to play one more voice message, and here it is.
Hello, Dave. Good morning. I think this is serious. I will even suggest if it's possible, Otumfuo should take the kingdom like for Ashanti region that is for him, and we will not tolerate any politicians and those people in leadership. It's all this happening. All the residential areas are now being turned to commercial area. What is wrong with us? And we are the so-called the learned ones. I have money, I'm educated, and we are doing all these things. It's all disheartening. We have to pay critical attention to all these things.
Well, thank you very much for your time, for the calls, for the messages. And of course, UPV Jantua, thanks very much. He's a development consultant. He joined us as well. We'll be having more talks as we enter the month of March, which of course is our Ghana month. So thank you very much. Now, before we cross over to Joy 99.7, well, later this morning they'll be talking about the performance of the various state-owned enterprises and how they're faring and all. We've got some birthday dedications for you.
Yes, this one says happy birthday to Rosalind Drua of Hilltop School, mom and siblings.